Think about it. We eat a few times every single day, right? And a lot of the time, we're just on autopilot. But what if we could change that? What if eating could become this really profound practice of mindfulness and gratitude? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. How traditional Islamic teachings can transform something as simple as a meal into a powerful spiritual act.
So let's start with this. When you sit down for your next meal, is it just, food? Is it just about stopping that rumbling in your stomach, or could it be something more? That's really the big question we're going to try to answer here.
And to do that, we're going straight to the source. Our guide for this whole explanation comes from classical texts, just like the one you're seeing. These books are packed with the traditions and sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, and for centuries, they've basically been the blueprint for how to turn everyday stuff into something sacred.
Okay, so where does this all begin? It really boils down to one core idea. Food isn't just a product you buy at the store, it's seen as a direct blessing, a gift that asks for, it asks for our attention and our thanks.
And you can see this idea in action with something really simple but so powerful. Before a meal, you're encouraged to mention God's name, to say Bismillah. Just that one word, that one pause, completely shifts your whole mindset. It's like you're consciously reframing the food. It's not just your food anymore, it's a provision from God. And I love this part. The tradition even has a fix for if you forget. It shows that it's not about being perfect or robotic. It's the intention that really counts.
So what's the ultimate goal here? Well, it's to invite something called barakah into your food. Now, barakah, it's one of those words that's kind of tricky to translate perfectly. The best way to think of it is like divine grace or blessing. It's this idea that a little bit of food with barakah can actually be way more nourishing and satisfying than a huge plate of food without it. It's a kind of satisfaction that feeds your body and your soul.
All right, that leads us right into the next big principle. And this one really underpins almost everything else, the wisdom of moderation. And look, this isn't about depriving yourself for no reason. Not at all. It's all about finding that sweet spot, that balance that gives you a healthier body and, a sharper mind.
And there's this incredible prophetic teaching that gives us a super clear blueprint for this. It says a person fills no worse container than their stomach, and that a few bites are often enough. But if you've got to eat more, then it gives this amazing rule of thumb. 1/3 for your food, 1/3 for your drink, and 1/3 for your breath. I mean, how powerful is that? Leaving space for your breath? The message is clear. Food should fuel you, not knock you out.
So you've basically got two totally different ways of looking at it. On one side, you've got just filling the stomach. We all know that feeling, right? It's what leads to that afternoon slump where you just want to take a nap. But on the other side, you have this mindful approach where the focus is on truly nourishing your body. And that leads to energy and clarity. The whole point of these teachings is to help us shift from that first column over to the second.
Okay, so we've got the why. The philosophy is clear, but how does this actually look in practice? What do you do at the dinner table? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the table manners that turn these big ideas into real, conscious actions.
You can think of each of these steps as like a little anchor for your attention. So first, you start with gratitude, right? You mention God's name. Then, you're encouraged to eat with your right hand, a simple thing that makes you more deliberate. Then, eat from what's right in front of you. This is all about being considerate of others. And this next one is huge. Value every single bite. If a piece of food falls, you clean it and eat it. Don't waste a thing. And finally, you close the loop by finishing with gratitude, praising God. It's a complete mindful circle.
And, this isn't some new age wellness trend. We're talking about details and points of etiquette that are laid out in these ancient texts. They've been a core part of the tradition for well over 1,000 years, and every single one is designed to help us cultivate presence, respect, and a deep sense of gratitude.
Now here's something really interesting. This whole attitude of appreciation actually gets specific, highlighting certain foods. And it's not that these foods are seen as, magical. It's more that they're held up as powerful symbols of that divine blessing we talked about, encouraging us to be extra grateful for them.
Take bread, for example. It's called the best of your food. It's treated with so much respect because it's seen as this foundational, staple food, the very essence of sustenance that connects all of us, really.
And then there's meat, which gets this really powerful title, the master of food, both in this world and the next. This just highlights its role as a special source of strength, maybe for a celebration. It's a big deal, a blessing you don't take lightly.
And this one, I just love this. Even something as basic as vinegar gets a shout out. What an excellent condiment is vinegar. It just goes to show you that this isn't just about fancy, expensive foods. You can find blessing and goodness in the simplest things on your plate. You just have to, well, you have to pay attention.
So when you put all these pieces together, the big ideas and the small actions, you start to see that this is about so much more than just food. It's really about nourishing your soul.
At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's about turning a meal into a complete act of worship. It's about gratitude for the blessing itself. It's about moderation for your own health. It's about mindfulness in every little thing you do and respect for the food on your plate. And maybe most importantly, it gives eating a higher purpose. The idea that you're getting stronger not just for you, but so you can go out and do good in the world. So really, the takeaway here isn't a long list of rigid rules to memorize. It's more of an invitation to be just a little more present, a little more grateful. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. With all this in mind, how are you going to approach your next meal?